Boxing truth here. You know what's funny? In the past 3 years, Andre SOG Ward has fought more soft touches than Gennady Golovkin. It's true. Andre Ward is fighting more softer opposition in the past 3 years than Gennady Golovkin. And here's the difference. Andre Ward is choosing these opponents by choice. Fighters like Paul Smith, Alexander Brand, Edwin Rodriguez. And in the case of Golovkin, he's had to mostly fight guys that are willing to fight him since he's being ducked and dodged from every top fighter in 160-pound division. He's been ducked by two straight lineals. Maravilla didn't fight him as well. And Virgil Hunter came out today, Andre Ward's trainer, trolling like a motherfucker, defending this trash of a fight that Andre Ward's about to fight against Alexander Brand. Even having the audacity to say that Brand is a more formidable opponent than Dominic Wade. Seriously, you're going to say that a 39-year-old super middleweight who's not even top 30, top 25 in the super middleweight division was more promising than Dominic Wade, who was an undefeated prospect who was showing some promise coming up, and then he was stepped up in a step-up fight against Solomon, and he failed the test. He didn't pass. So he was sacrificed by Heyman after that poor performance against Sam Solomon. You're actually going to compare a guy who was much younger, coming off the type of amateur pedigree that he had in Dominic Wade, and who was the highest rated available contender in the IBF. See, Golovkin didn't have a choice to fight Dominic Wade. He had to fight him, or he would have been stripped of his belt. He would have been stripped of the IBF belt that he worked so long and hard and went through a lot of bullshit just to get through. See, Andre Ward has a choice of who he wants to fight in his past few fights. He chose to fight Paul Smith. He chose to fight Alexander Brand. And it's simply because he's hard to negotiate with. The guy, it's not easy making fights with this dude. Some details were revealed about negotiations about certain opponents. In HBO, they preferred Sean Monaghan, a top-ranked fighter from New York who's undefeated in the light heavyweight division. He's rated within the top 25, rated by some sanctioning bodies, I believe. The point is, he's undefeated and he's a light heavyweight. Would have been a much more suitable opponent. But according to Bob Arum, Rock Nation and Ward were just too difficult to deal with, putting in stipulations and clauses that just made the deal impossible to make. Trying to say that if Monaghan flunked the drug test, that they would have been responsible for all the expenses of the promotion. So it just shows you that Rock Nation and Andre Ward, they're just hard to negotiate with, hard to make fights. So Ward, it's not like he really tried hard to get a suitable opponent. He was content with just getting the cheapest guy on the table in order to get his showcase bout, a fight where HBO is going to pay perhaps over a $2 million license fee just to put on this trash fight on August 6th. And it's only going to be a one-and-done show. There's not even going to be a co-feature because HBO is already spending a lot of money putting this fight on. It just shows you, it just gives me the impression that HBO wants Andre Ward to lose so they can use his name, and by him getting knocked out against Sergey Kovalev later in the year, and in hopes of making Sergey Kovalev a bigger star, a pay-per-view star, by using Andre Ward's name and sacrificing him to Sergey Kovalev. I just get that impression. HBO is willing to pay all this money for these trash fights, expensive showcases, which is affecting their budget. The HBO's budget is affected because they're saving money for Andre Ward showcases, Golovkin fights, and Canelo's fight later in the year. on regular HBO. That's why their budget is all fucked up, because they're saving money for their marquee fighters, and also the priorities are Canelo, Golovkin, and as well as Andre Ward, so he can get his ass knocked out by Sergey Kovalev later in the year, and in hopes of making Sergey Kovalev a bigger star, which is what HBO is hoping for. So it's funny as how Virgil Hunter is defending this cherry pick, saying that Brand is a more formidable opponent. I've seen Brand fight a couple of times. That guy is trash. I mean, the guy can't even throw punches correctly. He has terrible technique, ugly ass style. It just makes you wonder how this guy was able to win 25 of his 27 fights, I believe, or 26 fights. I don't know his record. He's 25-1, 26-1 or something. He lost a decision to Bado Jack when Bado Jack was a young pup. He only had 10 fights in his career. And he's going to try to say that Brand's a more formidable opponent. He's 39 years old. Hasn't beaten anybody. I've heard from people that this guy is one of the worst fighters they seen in the gym. That he actually got beat up by someone from the street. He went up to go and spar with him, and he got his ass whooped by a civilian, not even a part-time fighter or a top amateur, a civilian. This is what I'm hearing. And Virgil Hunter, Ward's trainer, is going to try to defend this fight. Look, it is what it is. Ward took the fight to get his usual minimum for fights. And also, Alexander Brand was the cheapest option. You're going to see Brand's going to cost like, what, maybe $50K, $100K. He was willing to fight for short money. And so Ward was content with taking that fight. It wasn't even about getting the most suitable opponent. For one reason or another, the fighters, the names that kept being brought up were dropping like flies. Constantly, deals were getting killed for one reason or another. Nathan Cleverly, the guy from Sweden, Eric Sakulin. And then Sean Monaghan came into the picture, and Aaron revealed why the deal was killed, because of the stipulations and clauses Rock Nation and Ward's team were trying to implement on top rank for that fight. So Ward is getting a pass for all these showcases, these hand-picked opponents, simply because he's going to fight Sergey Kovalev. And on the other side, Golovkin gets criticized when you can clearly see nobody wants to fucking fight the guy. Nobody. And if you look at his opponents the past 3 years, all the guys he's been fighting were mostly in the top 20. Within the top 20. He beat 2 top 5 middleweights last year, Golovkin. Beat 2 top 5 middleweights. Unified the titles. Knocked out a former champion in Daniel Geale. Destroyed Adama and Curtis Stevens, who were top 20 middleweights. Matthew Macklin was in the top 20 as well. Gabriel Rosado had a lot of momentum going into that fight. Was already considered top 10, top 5 at 154, but took a shot against Golovkin for a lot more money compared to what he would have gotten for a title shot at 54. The only trash fight Golovkin had in the past 3 years, that was, you could say it was a trash fight, was the Ishida fight. That was in Monaco. And I don't even think it was aired. I don't even think HBO even bought the rights to the fight. It wasn't even aired in American television. So it's not like the American public had to endure this type of showcase. What we're going to have to do on August 6th, that's not... No one is clamoring to watch Ward fight Alexander Brand, a 39-year-old super middleweight, not even ranked within the top 25. A complete showcase bout. One of the trashiest opponents ever. One of the worst B-sides I've ever seen on an HBO platform. But Golovkin gets criticized because he had no choice to fight Dominic Wade. Andre Ward had a choice. This is the difference. He had a choice to fight somebody. He had a choice to fight a suitable opponent. Golovkin did it for his last fight. It was either he fight Dominic Wade or he gets stripped of his title. and that is a difference. But it is what it is. Andre Ward's going to get his ass knocked out anyways. Hopefully the fight goes down in November. Andre Ward's, if you go on BoxRec, the fight's already scheduled. It's already on Ward's career record. It's already scheduled for November 19th at the T-Mobile Arena. Virgil Hunter is delusional, trying to bring up the bullshit negotiations between those two, where he wanted a fight a year and a half from now, and 2 interim fights, 2 tune-ups. Whatever, man. Keep bringing up that weak-ass deal y'all offered to Triple G, who right now is focused on the middleweight division and is very close to conquering his career goal, becoming undisputed, and perhaps breaking Bernard Hopkins' middleweight record. Bigger fish to fry in the 60-pound division. He still, looks like the Eubank Jr. fight is a done deal. That's a big fight, big payday for Triple G. He gets past that. Maybe Saunders, maybe Jacobs, and then maybe eventually a Canelo fight next year. Still a lot of money to be made, a lot of big fights for Triple G at 160. Why on earth would he move up now when he's got all this fish to fry in the 60-pound division? And Andre Ward, what does he give you? Inactivity, false promises, hand-picked opponents, cherry-picked fights, not making much of an initiative in getting the best suitable opponents for his next HBO date on August 6th. But at least hopefully he'll give you the Kovalev fight, where most likely he's going to get knocked out, and HBO is going to have another star in their stable in Sergey Kovalev. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.